Good morning to you. Welcome to Business. The previous administration is warning of an impending financial crisis for the economy. It follows government's decision to take over $1 billion from a single institutional investor, Franklin Templeton, in a historic bond auction last week. The previous administration argues the city and the economy could suffer greatly anytime the institutional investor decides to sell bonds it's holding before it matures. Former Deputy Minister of Finance, Atuforson, tells it is always prudent to spread the risks with such bonds.
When you have an international transaction like Franklin Templeton coming to invest over $1 billion into your economy, clearly, and it's a foreign transaction, you should have come to Parliament. So it's another point we'll take from there.
Is this something that the minority will take it up? Even at the Finance Committee level, some say?
I've thrown it out there first. We'll take it from there, secondly.
We also hear that the fund might even be giving them some space to borrow because those funds that they took in may have some impact on the public debt. So if these borrowings are supposed to be going to expanding the economy or infrastructure projects as well, what do you make of this as well?
The IMF program is aimed at debt sustainability. So clearly, if you have a debt to GDP in the region of 70s, 2015 it was 72.25. 2016 it moved to 72. No, in fact it was 72% in 2015 December, and it's moved to 72.5 in 2016. Provisional. I say provisional because we're still waiting for Ghana Statistical Service to come out with the final GDP numbers. If the nominal changes, then the debt to GDP is going to change. My projection is that debt to GDP will actually be almost the same as 2015 from 2016. It's going to be about 72. And if you jump it from 72 and add 8% point within 1 year to 80%, I'll be surprised if the IMF granted them additional room to borrow. Then it means if you borrow, then what IMF is going to do is that they will end up revising the deficit from 6.5% to say 8%.
And away from that, government has begun releasing budgetary allocation for its flagship industrialization program, the One District, One Factory initiative. That's according to the Minister of Trade and Industry in a speech read on his behalf by the Director of Policy and Evaluation, Paddy Drako. He disclosed this at the Ghana International Trade, Freight and Finance Conference in 2017 here in Accra. He also noted that government has begun the process of formulating some key policies under the industrialization program. Ebenezer Sabuti was there.
Speaking at the opening of the 2017 International Trade, Freight and Finance Conference, Director of Policy and Evaluation at the Ministry of Trade and Industry, Paddy Drako, disclosed the budgetary allocation for government's industrialization program has been granted by government. Government in the 2017 budget allocated an amount of 456 million cedis for the beginning of the program. The fund will be made available for the implementing agency to access when ready to begin work. He said the ministry is still engaging private sector businesses to look at some modalities for the program.
The money that we budgeted for has been granted, and now we are in the process of formulating the policies in regard of one factory, one district, one factory. As you may be very well aware, the ministry is the primary agency of government to facilitate the development and transformation of the government transformation agenda of making sure that every district will have at least a flagship project. And since we are responsible for value addition processing, we would support all those things. So it's like you come with your program or proposals, and then the ministry will sit down with you and then see how they would develop it.
On her part, the Mexican ambassador to Ghana, Her Excellency Maria de Los Angeles, hinted some Mexican companies have already started engaging the Ghanaian enterprises for a partnership in this regard. She confirmed at least one of the companies has expressed the desire to establish in Ghana.
One of them, I know that already started trading with Ghana, and they came again last month and had some important meetings with local companies and with main authorities in Ghana dealing with trade and industry. And they are very strong thinking and evaluating the possibility to get into an investment in Ghana. So that is what I'm trying to do. And there is just one company. I will not say for the moment the name because there is nothing already in the land to say it is done. But there is a very strong Mexican company, one of the Mexican leader international companies that is already looking to Ghana as a very important country where we can get an investment.
The three-day event is aimed at helping industry players globally to understand the do's and don'ts within their line of trade when operating in Ghana.
And that's all in business for now. Do make a date again at midday for more business news updates. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji. We are